Hi, this is Sujit Paul here. Thank you for being part of this special session where we will speak much more in details about how will you actually understand your next move of life. Now, many of you know, or many of you know, who have taken a session from me on past life regression and similar, they're aware as to how we actually take this journey into. But what I would like to explain to the viewers, for people who either do not believe in this or people who have not undergone our session, is that whilst there is always a disclaimer that there is no 100% foolproof success ratio that we commit, is that this world is basically a very beautiful place. By speaking to a person, by having a session of at least some 3 to 4 sessions, we can kind of say whether the soul is proceeding ahead or the soul is retracting ahead. Now, what do I mean by the soul is proceeding ahead or the soul is retracting ahead? When we speak to people, when we speak to many of you, who come to us to have a more mending mechanism of the body and the soul out here so that they can have a better life next time, is that we try to understand and analyze their daily routines, what they do, what they like, how do they speak to people, what kind of activities do they usually do, so on and so forth. And from there is where we try to assess whether that soul is proceeding ahead or that soul is retracting ahead. Now, it's very important for all of us to do act of karma where the soul need to always keep on proceeding ahead. So various activities that you do in life either can take your soul ahead or it can take it behind. So there is nothing called constant. Now, if any one of you wants to take those sessions from us, reach out to us and we'll try to see if we can work with you. There is certain amount of mental preparations and physical preparations that need to undergo before these kind of attributes have been done. While this entire perspective of universe is a beautiful journey, and we all need to be getting ready as much as possible for the next journey that we'll embark on. Now, what I always explain is that whatever amount of time that we have, whatever, for example, if someone is 60 years old, then they may have say 30-40 years or say 20-30 years with them. If someone is 20 years young, they may have a set of 50-60 years with them. If someone is 30 years, so on and so forth. Try to utilize that time in such a way that you get a better progression in life. Now, these are quite complex for people who probably do not understand the schematic of what I am saying, but this is so much very important that it is like creating a credit balance in your account consistently, because moment you get into a clinical physical death, your body will leave. And physics have explained that when we say that there is a ray of light that comes out, so on and so forth, and people who tend not to believe, if they try to understand also the scientific movement of how things can happen, even if you do not believe spiritually, that's fine, but you can't ignore science as well. So physics have explained that there is something called biophotons, where the biophotons gets emitted out when the physical body moves out, and we see a sense of light. And when you actually go through up, then typically you lose the connection of your body directly. However, there is an indirect connection that still stays. What I mean by direct and indirect here is that whilst you can see your body, whilst you can see people, but you cannot contact or communicate with them the way you used to do when you are holding this body. So, and then definitely in the whole process starts of yours where you get into a different kind of spirit world. In fact, we have done some sessions where we have shown people that how it tends to feel in between the two lives. So that is a spirit world where you will see and feel the innumerable amount of souls that are there. Obviously, you can't see into a physical body perspective, but you can feel it as a physical body perspective for those whom you know or recognize. However, you will only see bubbles of lights and vibrations and energies floating around. So it's very important that each one of you understand how to take this journey of yours, so that when you reach out to that, because in world it's just a class, it's just a school that we are there. So when you reach out there, you know that you have earned this amount of goodie points, so that you have an advantage out there. Many of you, who have reached out to me and whom I counsel specifically, we have seen that at times it becomes very difficult for you to understand this. Don't worry, you don't need to understand everything. Just get the basics right. And I always say that if you have your basics right, when you are part of this so-called world, you would tend to have a better move there. As a body, everything you cannot get right, which is understandable. However, whatever you are doing is the rationale of some action that is always been planned for. So that specific action, if you have done something which may be so-called incorrect, inappropriate, try to do a rectification of that. Try to mend that. And if you have done something which is appropriate, try to improve that. So if you do these two pieces appropriately, your bubble of light there will be much better, and your movement to the next move of life would be much better. Of course, you yourself need to decide what kind of life, and that has various parameters. Again, what kind of next life that you would be taking and getting through. But lots depends upon how you are actually playing your game out here. I'll keep it short out here till now, but if any one of you are interested to understand more of it, write back to us. We'll try to respond. Of late, there is a plethora of mails that are coming to us, and our responses may be late, but definitely you would get a response back. If not, reach out to us through other mediums. Thank you for being here, and enjoy life in the right move, right direction as you are there in this world. Thank you.